Hi guys, it's Tracy Newman from the Navigators Tarot, just here to give you an update on what's going on with the energies this week. General energy report. Here we go. So just over the weekend we had a massive shift from one time matrix into another. We are beginning to shift on an energetic level into a completely different octave. There has been a lot of illness, and there has been a lot of time for us to rest. And if you are feeling called upon to rest at any stage, I suggest you take that on board and take the time out to rest, especially at the moment, because the energies are such that they're beginning to really knock us flat. But that's all about getting us ready to move forward into these higher octave energies. We have the card of victory here. We also have the card of the Nine of Water, which is about independence on an emotional level, which a lot of us are now beginning to really move into that. And also I don't know, over the Christmas period it seemed very rushed, very busy. And then as soon as New Year began, it was kind of like we literally did move into, because I felt it, it was very, 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 it wasn't even really very subtle, but I really felt like we'd moved completely out of one time matrix into another, where things are a lot more fluid. The time is not as linear. We will actually start to go into a time where we're going to start to become very present. And so really in that now presence, as we begin to really shift and move out of the old time matrix. There is also a greater feeling of love within ourselves as we become more now in the now presence. As you sit, contemplate, watch. A lot of us are actually taken out too, like in the form of illness, in the form of just being knocked flat with our energies. And I think it's really sometimes to get us into a state of being very contemplative in our energies and just go sort of like, and being in that now presence. So, in that now presence, quite often in that time of rest, we often can see things that we've not actually really ever looked at before. And I'm not talking about our lives as such, but more getting really very focused on things like butterflies in the garden and the way the colours are very vibrant within the flowers in the garden, and those sorts of really beautiful feelings, and the birds that are flying. It's sort of like those, and the birds that are singing, and it's like really, really sort of like becoming one with all that is, but becoming heightened, all your senses becoming extremely heightened in that now presence. And that is what we're being called upon to do right now as we move out of these lower, denser energies into higher frequency energies. Yeah, so a very contemplative sort of like still energy, which is what I got from also too when I was actually driving the other night to a party for New Year's, so I'm always dropping cards. So these cards too here, the Nine of Air. As we become very still in the now, there's a certain freedom in that. And also too, in rest, there is freedom. It's a freedom from having to do anything. And I think as we move into these higher octave energies, it is actually going to be more about that anyway. It's going to be more about how we can move with the flow instead of actually being run by time and appointments and work structures. It's all going to become a lot more fluid. We're going to be a lot more fluid in the way that we work, in the way that we live our lives, and more in that now presence. The Ten of Earth. Oh, okay. So once again, I still... As we move into these newer, higher octaves, there will be a time where we are still going to need finances, money, in that new matrix world that we're now in contemplation of, how we would like that to be structured. But you know, as that comes into being, as we become more fluid in the way that we are, that the financial system that we are, oh God, I'm just getting that. It's like, you know, it will come into everything that we need is available to us at any given moment. And so eventually the need for financial assistance or gain or anything like that will just become obsolete. It will not be needed. But in the meantime, in the transition period, there will be a hard currency in the form of gold, silver, platinum based financial system, and it will be there as a form of keeping us in a state where we are able to. So this is the thing, there would be, we've actually relied on a financial system that has been about control, that has been about, it's been about control really, and keeping us bound to a slave system. But now, as we move into these higher octaves, that will change. So our financial system will change. And I keep getting this because there is, in gold, I'm feeling that gold is very, very, it is of a high frequency, especially Metatronic gold. But right at this point in time, it's like the frequency of gold is such that it will be the underlying current that will actually move into this financial system, that will move us into this beautiful new way of being at one with all that is, and also on a frequency band that everything will be just fluid and movement. And we are able from that instance to create whatever it is that we wish to at any given moment. So as we move into these newer energies, that financial system will be there for us to use to create this new world that we're moving into. Eventually, that will also drop away. Any form of financial assistance in any way will eventually drop away. But in the meantime, for the transitional period that we are moving from one octave to another, the financial system will have to be, but it will be higher, of a higher vibration, and will be totally different to anything that we've ever seen before. But of course, we must all be in that now presence to be able to receive that which God has ordained. I hope that makes sense. The High Priestess, the World, Fortune's Wheel. So we're actually starting to go into these higher frequencies, but also too, we're closing out old cycles. We are most definitely closing out old cycles, that we're moving into much more loving, nurturing energies, but also too more feminine energies of the Empress as it comes through. So the Empress here actually also too means a time of abundance. And that is exactly what we're going to be starting to move into as we leave this old world matrix behind. There's also two new beginnings on the love vibration as we move more into these these now moments, we also too then are available to receive those beautiful love energies that are now coming onto the earth plane. Where once our vibration would have rejected those love vibrations, now we are starting to move into them so that they, and incorporate them into our lives so that they become one with us. So those energies are beautiful. There's also the Nine of Earth here and also the Two of Cups. So the Two of Cups is about love, can be love between two people. And so there may be more people coming into union over this next sort of period as well. And just becoming more at ease with others, in how we interact with others as well. Because as we become a lot more peaceful within our own beings, then we actually move that out into the world in which we live. So we're moving into calmer waters right now. We're starting to really move into these beautiful, beautiful energies of love, unconditional love. And there is also too a sense of us all just waiting for our ships to come in. But it's kind of like waiting for the new earth as it begins to shift and change, as we move into this higher octave and the higher frequencies of the new earth. So that's pretty much all I have for you this week. It's a really lovely feeling of peace, tranquility, stillness, and love. Unconditional love. So, if you haven't already, please hit like and subscribe, and I shall see you next week. Bye for now.